and his staff, knowledgeable about their product, and they stand behind every sale. Massey Ferguson is the last tractor you'll ever need. NC Tractor, a dependable and reliable company that'll be there after the sale. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton. Lou Gillum in the Blue Room. Your forecast for today is going to be cloudy, chance of showers, highs around 60. Cloudy tonight, chance of showers, lows around 40, but that wind chill as low as 35 degrees. Cloudy tomorrow, chance of showers, highs around 45, but that wind chill as low as 35 degrees. For tomorrow night, cloudy, chance of showers, lows around 40, but that wind chill around freezing. For Sunday, partly cloudy, highs around 60. Partly cloudy overnight, lows around 40. That's your forecast on 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB, Rutherfordton.
Welcome to All Things Rutherford, here on 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB, Rutherfordton. Now here's your host, Todd and Tracy.
Well, good morning, Tracy. How in the world are you?
Oh, I'm just absolutely fabulous. I feel so good today. It almost feels like Friday.
It is Friday.
Yeah.
Today is an especially Friday.
Yes.
Especially different Friday because it is Good Friday.
That is absolutely correct.
The best Friday I can think of is Good Friday.
Yes.
Tracy, what is that over? Is that little art? What is that little art you got going? Can I see that?
Oh, yes.
Look at that. Happy Easter. And it's like a little chicken. He's half popped out of his little egg there, and he said, "My tummy hurts. Too much candy." Oh, look at that. I'm gonna show our audience. You now see that? Tracy's little drawing. Ain't that cool? That's cool. I like that.
Oh, thank you.
A lot of times we definitely gonna eat too much Sunday. I know that.
That's right. But you know something? It's all in celebration of what our Lord did for us.
That's right. We
He
all
sure
celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Some denominations have been doing this all week since Sunday.
That's right.
And that's wonderful. Love seeing stuff like that. Well, let's go ahead and cover the death announcements for this Friday morning. April the 7th, Walter Leonard Burke of Bostic passed away Tuesday at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. Visitation will be from 5 until 7 this evening at Washburn Dorsey Funeral Home, and funeral services conducted tomorrow at 2 at the Washburn Dorsey Funeral Home. Washburn Dorsey Funeral Home, cremation services serving the family of Walter Leonard Burke. Dazel Irvin Holland, age 85, of Spindale, passed away Tuesday at Accordius Health in Rutherfordton. Family will receive friends from 11 until 12 today at the McMahon's Funeral Home, and a memorial service will be at noon today. McMahon's Funeral Home, cremation services in charge of the arrangements for Dazel Holland. James Edward Jed Doggett, age 59, of Lake Lure, passed away March the 1st at his home. Family will be receiving friends 10 a.m. Saturday, May the 6th at the McMahon's Funeral Home. Celebration of life will be held Saturday, May the 6th at 11, followed by burial in the Rutherfordton Cemetery. McMahon's Funeral Home and cremation service in charge of the arrangements for James Edward Jed Doggett. And you can hear the complete information on those obituaries later on this morning at 11:35, 11:40, right in there. That's part of the midday show. Tracy, it's going to be a beautiful day outside. What is our weather forecast? I didn't
Rain.
even look this morning.
It's rain,
It's
but
still going to be a beautiful
it's still going to
day.
be a beautiful day. We just have to take rain and turn it into our own sunshine.
It's only a 90% chance. I mean, really. Yeah. But we are sitting at 65 degrees under cloudy skies. Thank you for being with us on this morning show with us. All Things Rutherford is what we call it. We check with all our points around the county, find out what's been happening overnight while you slept. And finally Friday, friend, as a good friend Jim Bishop would say, the Bill O'Reilly report coming up in just a few moments. After that, we'll get started with our morning call-around report. Here's Bill O'Reilly.
You're probably upset that your yearly dues continue to increase. Lone Star Transfer guarantees the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and done in a specific time frame. They're the only company you can trust, having helped more than 18,000 owners legally and permanently get out. So please call Lone Star Transfer 855-551-7066 or visit LoneStarTransfer.com. On this Friday, you can be sure Xi and Putin are having a blast watching the latest political fiasco in the USA. Both men are brutal dictators, of course, who sneer at dissent and due process. To them, the Trump legal circus is just another example of America's decline. In Russia and China, a person like Stormy Daniels would quickly disappear, along with anyone else who threatened those in power. In the USA, Ms. Daniels is a celebrity who is now marketing T-shirts. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg could exist in a totalitarian situation because he is willing to bend justice for political reasons. Yes, Putin and Xi could put Mr. Bragg to good use. It is apparent that many world leaders sense a growing weakness, not only in American leadership, but also within the population. In Chicago, the folks just elected a new mayor who is softer on crime than Lori Lightfoot. I'm sure that prompted giggles in Beijing and Moscow, where violent crime is suppressed with greater violence. Step out of line, they'll come and take you away. So Americans need to wise up quickly. Our freedoms are in jeopardy from both inside and outside the country. We need collectively to stop the madness. Back after this. Hey, DirecTV viewers, Bill O'Reilly here, inviting you to watch the No Spin News on the First TV every night, 8 p.m. Eastern. The 2024 election coming up fast. Pundits parade from channel to channel, pushing nothing but speculation and their own partisan agenda. All that stops now with me, Bill O'Reilly, on the First TV. So please join me every night, 8 p.m. for the No Spin News on the First TV, DirecTV channel 347. Stand up for your country. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
John Webb served on posses in Dodge City under Bat Masterson and a spell as a policeman. Then he went to Las Vegas, New Mexico, and spent some time as a part-time special officer. In 1880, he was named city marshal. But John Webb wasn't really a good man, for while he was working for the law, he was also robbing and doing other mischief with friend and bad man Dave Rudeball. On April 2, 1880, while serving as the Las Vegas, New Mexico City Marshal, John Webb robbed a man and in the process killed him. Over the next week, Webb was arrested, tried, and sentenced to be hanged. His old friend Dave Rudeball, after being chased out of Dodge City, happened to be spending some time in Las Vegas. So Rudeball decided to break Webb out of jail. When Rudeball broke in, Webb refused to go. You see, Webb was expecting a pardon from the governor. Unfortunately, in the process, Rudeball killed jailer Antonio Valdez. So Rudeball had to hightail it out of town just ahead of the law. Unfortunately, Webb didn't get the pardon he had expected, but he did get his sentence reduced to life. On March of 1881, a year later, Dave Rudeball showed up at the Las Vegas jail again. But this time, he was in handcuffs to stand trial for the murder of jailer Valdez. Not wanting to be hanged, Rudeball masterminded another jailbreak. John Webb was again offered his freedom. This time he gladly went along. John also made sure Rudeball never had to break him out of jail again by never again getting locked up inside one. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
15 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock on this Friday, April the 7th. Good Friday. Celebrated. A lot of people off today, taking vacations and whatnot. I'm off on Monday, so that'll be a good thing. And we're going first, get started with our Saturday morning call-around report right here. With us is Sergeant Brando. Sergeant, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, sir. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. What do you have on the report for us this morning?
Past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Office has answered 118 calls, processed 12 arrests, and currently have 183 incarcerated. Under our arrest reports, we have a Robert Jr. Smith, 27-year-old white male of Union Mills, charged with resisting an officer, given a $1,000 secure bond. Ronnie Caleb Maccabee, 30-year-old white male of Far City, charged with failure to appear on a misdemeanor, given $500 unsecured bond. Sabrina K. McClure, 36-year-old white female, Union Mills, charged with possession of methamphetamine, given a $1,500 secured bond. Ronald Brandon Green, 42-year-old white male of Ellenboro, charged with failure to appear on a misdemeanor, 2 counts, given a $1,000 bond. Adam Kyle Tipton, 35-year-old white male of Ellenboro, charged with violation of release order, a domestic violence protection order violation, and assault with deadly weapon. Looks like he was given no bond on that. Austin Skylar Black, 28-year-old white male of Shelby, charged with possession of Schedule 2, possession of drug paraphernalia, given a $10,000 unsecured bond. Floyd Ray Oliver, 56-year-old white male of Far City, charged with 4 counts of failure to appear, given a $500 secured bond. Sherry Lynn Thompson, 32-year-old white female of Spindale, charged with 3 counts of failure to appear, given a $1,000 secured bond. Jadisk Hush, 19-year-old black male of Shelby, charged with 5 counts of failure to appear on a felony, given a $5,000 secured bond. Dominique Connor, 21-year-old black male of Ellenburg, charged with 2 counts of failure to appear, given a $500 secured bond. Krista Richardson, 49-year-old white female of Far City, charged with possession marijuana paraphernalia and possession marijuana, given a written promise on that. David Allen Wilson, 50-year-old white male of Rutherford, charged with 4 counts of failure to appear, given a $500 secure bond. Christopher Michael Mitchell, 37-year-old black male of Far City, charged with 8 counts of failure to appear, given a $57,000 secure bond. Under our incident reports, we have 2 for you this morning. Damage to real property occurred, Orange Street, Ellenboro. Looks like somebody busted the rear window of a vehicle in that incident. And we have an incident of safe cracking, Highland Avenue, Mooresboro. And that's all we have this morning, sir.
Deputy Sergeant Brandon. We appreciate the report this morning, and have a good day and be safe.
Yes, sir. You take care.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Sergeant Brandon with that report. Did you hear what I said?
Yes, I did.
I said Saturday morning report.
He is one day ahead.
I'm trying to keep everybody out here on their toes. If I say Saturday and it's Friday, call me out on it.
Oh, I was thinking that, if it was Saturday, I'd just be rolling over.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'd be out of bed yet. Continuing our call around report this morning, going to 911 Communications Center next.
Spring in the South means the return of Atlanta Braves baseball.
There's a liner out towards center field. It will lay down. Here comes Ronald. Braves win it.
This loaded up squad is ready to make another run at the crown. But the road to the Fall Classic starts in Florida.
Swung on, hammered to deep center. Home run.
So be here for every huge spring training game as the 2023 Braves load up for another huge season. Right here on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Nineteen minutes after 7 o'clock. Marie with us from 911 Communications Center. Marie, what's happening in communications this morning?
Okay, in the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County's 911 Communications Center's processed 296 911 administrative calls, which consisted of 60 for EMS. For law enforcement, the Sheriff's Department had 118, Forest City had 50, Lake Lure had 4, Rutherford had 21, Spindle had 19. For fire calls, Ellenboro responded to a structure fire assisted by Cliffside and Sandy Mush. That's all I have for the morning.
Marie, thanks so much for the report. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye. lot of y'all got big plans coming up for this weekend. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, but other than that, it's supposed to rain Sunday. I think the chance for rain on Sunday kind of went away. Yep, it actually did. Yep, partly cloudy on Sunday, high near 60s. So a lot of churches around here will be having Easter sunrise service. It's always beautiful to go out and watch the sunrise.
Yes, it is.
You don't really need a holiday to do that. You could do that pretty much just any day, but this one is especially.
That's exactly right. And every time we look at a sunrise, we should think that bring us back to that very moment of what
that's right.
Where all the sunrises really.
What that means. The sunrises are there for a reason.
Yep.
21 minutes after 7 o'clock, and we're headed to Shiloh, Danieltown, Oakland.
It's the store folks in Western North Carolina depend on. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply. It's like a superstore. Deer corn, $11.05 for 50 pounds. Cob corn, $10. They have plenty of deer plant supplies. Check on the lower prices on propane, $12.99 for a 20-pound tank. Mulch, gravel, rocks, and supplies for beautiful landscaping. That's available at Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply at lower prices. Open Monday through Saturday. If you want a feed and seed store that carries so much more, including new and used farm equipment, then come on over to Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply, 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherfordton.
721, Ruby Taylor from the SDO Fire District. Ruby, good morning.
Good morning.
Everything going good over that way?
I reckon I didn't hear anything from the fire department. And on my birthday calendar today, I got Mason White, Brenda Roach, and Kathy Hollifield having birthday today. Hope they all have a good day. Tomorrow, Faye Moore, Kendra Walker, having a birthday. Mr. and Ms. Rick Green, Mr. and Ms. Robert Bailey, and Mr. and Ms. Jesse James is having an anniversary tomorrow. Then Sunday, Tricia Hines and Thomas Williams having birthday. And hope all these people have a nice day. And the signs are in the boughs today, tomorrow, and going to the thighs on Sunday. And that's all I got.
All right, Ruby, thanks so much.
You.
Bye-bye. Ruby Taylor with that report from the SDO Fire. Did she say Jesse James having an anniversary tomorrow?
She did, and I'm not sure if that's Jesse James Tate.
I tell you what, if it is, I'll see how she put up with him that long.
I don't either. That's a good question.
Of course, I'm one to talk. I've been putting up with him since high school. So
we all have to put up with Jesse. Sorry, Lordy. Jesse, we love you.
7:23. We're going to move and check in with Chris Melton up in the Lake Lure Fairfield area up that way, and we'll continue right after you hear these words.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Coming up on 24 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Friday morning, April the 7th, 65 degrees outside, cloudy skies. It still looks pretty doggone dark to me. Maybe the sun will peek out here just a little bit. Here's Chris Melton with us from the Chimney Rock, Lake Lure, Fairfield, Bills Creek. Did I leave out anything up that way? Bat Cave and Girton and...
Girton.
That's Henderson County.
Okay, well, I went too far. Chris, what's happening this morning?
Oh, not a whole lot. Lake Lure and Bills Creek ran a car with an oxide alarm yesterday. Other than that, we're just hoping we get a little bit of rain to help dry up or soak up in the ground to keep it from being too dry. But hopefully we'll get a good sunrise service up at Chimney Rock this Sunday.
Are you aware of any burn bans or anything like that going on?
No, not right now.
It's still not exactly dry like I've seen it before, but we sure could use some rain to, if nothing else, knock some of this pollen off these trees.
We're fixing to get it.
That's right.
I know, it's headed our way. I just wish it wasn't so heavy.
I know.
Yeah.
Good soaking rain.
Good soaking rain, light, carries on for a day or so, and then goes on about his business.
That's right. No Forrest Gump rain.
That's right. It was coming in sideways. Well, Chris, if nothing else, we'll bid you a good day, and we'll talk to you again on Monday.
Y'all have a good weekend.
Thanks, you too.
You too, Chris.
Chris Melton with the report from the Lake Lure area up that way. Forrest, he described that rain in about 17 different ways, didn't he?
He sure did.
And that was right behind the 417 ways he described shrimp.
That's right.
Oh, you can make shrimp out of anything.
Oh.
Shrimp sausage, shrimp creole, shrimp kebabs. Just shrimp. That's a great movie. I
really
love that
is.
movie.
If you've not seen it, you need
If you've
to.
not seen Forrest Gump, climb out from under the rock you're hiding under and go watch it. That's a great movie. Great movie. 726.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
726. DeVern Upton with us from the Bostic area. I thought it wasn't right when I said it, but that is right. DeVern over in Bostic. Good morning, DeVern. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. We have a temperature of 67 degrees here in Bostic. Fire department answered to a medical call. Food boxes will be given out today at Washburn's Outreach from 9 to 12:30. They're off of Piney Church Road. Easter baskets given out tomorrow from 8 to 10 until they're gone at Faith Baptist Church there in Forest City. Don't forget to come by Whistle Stop Baker here on Main Street in Bostic and get you baker items for the weekend for Easter. And Bostic Lincoln Center, as you start to cross the railroad tracks, will be open today from 10 to 1. Hope everyone has a wonderful Easter and a safe day today.
Thanks, DeVern. You do the same, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye. You ever been over to that Boston Lincoln Center? That's pretty amazing.
You
to
know,
go
I
through
have
that.
not, but that's on my list to do of things.
There's a lot of people don't want Lincoln to be born around here because of the way he treated the South back during the Civil War, and there's a lot of people that like for him to be here, but it's pretty convincing that he was born here.
Everybody's got their wild opinions, don't they?
I would have to lean toward him being born here.
I've heard he's born everywhere. Kentucky,
Kentucky.
Everybody claims him.
Kentucky don't want it because that'd take we'd have to go get their little log cabin and bring it back home to us.
That's right.
Because they claim he was born in that log cabin. We'd have to move it over to Boston.
That's exactly right.
And they don't want none of that. We'd be fighting with Kentucky. Oh, wait a minute. That wouldn't work.
That wouldn't work. Let's don't fight Kentucky.
All right, let's not fight Kentucky. Wonder if Kentucky's listening. There he is. They ain't taking any of my firearms. Of course. 28 minutes after 7 o'clock. We'll continue with our call-around report. We'll check in with Robbie Samuel after this.
Cheryl, have you been to the Homeworks Design Center inside Henson Building Materials in Forest City?
Oh, yes. Shana, David, and William are incredible at designing kitchen and bath cabinetry for my new she shed.
Your what?
And they have a full line of windows and doors on display in their 5,000 square foot showroom. And they'll install any ones you pick out for me.
Oh, you're too good to me.
I know. With selling and installing, it's basically one-stop shopping.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
I just hate it's going to rain out the Fab Fest.
Fab Fest, has it been? I think it's been postponed, hasn't it?
It's actually been moved.
Okay.
Yeah, but between us, I probably wouldn't go.
Okay, yeah.
Just because it's going to be packed, I'm thinking, in one room. So.
Lord, yeah, that'd be a lot. Now, y'all like to eat, don't you? Y'all like snack food, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
There's these new Doritos called Collisions where they kind of bring together two flavors.
Huh.
I saw one this morning that interested me. Cool Ranch and Zesty Pickle.
Ooh.
I bet you.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah, that don't sound good. Sorry, Todd.
I tell you what, you may not believe it, but I'm going to tell you the truth on this one.
Okay.
I'm not fibbing.
For once, he's going to tell the truth.
I'm going to tell you the truth on this one. If you ever get leg cramps at night and can't sleep, go ahead and drink you some pickle juice.
I've heard that.
Straighten you right out.
Yep.
Had a guy at church, he man, boy, I just can't, my legs hurt all night long. I said, before you go to bed, drink you a little shot of pickle juice. And he came back next Sunday, he said, I had slept all week long. He said, my legs hadn't hurt me.
I hope my mama's listening to this because she has leg cramps. Pickle juice, Mama.
Pickle juice. Got to get your pickle juice in you. Robbie, I guess we could introduce Robbie instead of just coming on here and talking
Everybody knows Robbie.
Robbie Samuel from the Mount Vernon Fire District. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How y'all this morning?
Oh, we're doing good. We're just chugging right along here. We're talking about anything and everything.
Well, that's a good thing. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. Just we got to figure out which subject you want to start with, right?
We're not going to bring any politics into the show, but you know.
No, I'd rather not.
We're going to stay away from that.
That's right. I'd probably hang up on you if you want to start talking about that.
All right, enough of this. Don't call me.
Oh, Lord.
Well, with the fire departments, they was busy with medical calls, both of them. Rupton had a wreck this morning, a motor vehicle crash on 108, but it actually ended up being nobody around, nobody hurt, so they didn't. So that's, I guess, a good thing on as far as anybody getting hurt. Nobody was around, just a car, some minor damage to the car. And the Fab Fest was supposed to be tonight on Central Street, but I was told that it's still going to be tonight, but it's actually going to be located at the Night Owl over there on Cleghorn Street. It's the Night Owl Ironworks building. They're going to move everything over there and have it indoors tonight. So if you want to still go to that, it'll still be available. I don't know how packed it'll be. It's a smaller building, but you still might be able to go and have a good time. Maybe 10, 15 minutes to an hour or so, especially if it's raining. I don't know how much it's supposed to rain, but also today is my niece Patience Samuel. It's her birthday, so I hope she has a wonderful birthday today. Tomorrow, April the 8th, will be April Hill's birthday, so I hope these folks have a good birthday this weekend and enjoy Easter. I hope y'all do as well. I'm going to, believe it or not, I'm off today, but I'm going to go as soon as we get off the radio and try to start cutting grass before it starts raining here.
So. That'd probably be a good idea.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is you got a kinfolk named April that was born in April.
Well, she's not kin to me.
Oh, okay.
She's just a friend I went to school with, and my daughter and her daughter is friends. So, yeah, but yeah.
April and April.
They named her April and April. So.
Well, all right then. Robbie, hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you.
I hope y'all do as well.
Have a great one, and we'll talk to you again Monday.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Bye, Robbie.
Robbie Samuel with the Mount Vernon Fire District. I just got to thinking about Kentucky. He said they ain't taking my firearms. So I bet when he gets up in the morning, he goes and greets all of them. Okay. Oh, there's my little 45. How you doing? It's so good to see you this morning. He probably cuddles them and
I
hugs
bet he
them.
does.
Gives them all a good night kiss.
I bet he does.
Oh, Lordy. 34 minutes after 7 o'clock, or you can call it 26 before 8, whichever way you want to say it. We're going to find ourselves next over in the Sunshine Cherry Mountain Fire District with Sue Price.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there.
7:35. Go find us in Sunshine Cherry Mountain Fire District. Sue Price, good morning. How in the world are you?
Good morning, Todd. I'm doing good. Hope you are.
Lord, yeah.
On this Good Friday.
Sure is Good Friday. Heading up on I don't remember what it's called, but there's a good YouTube video. A guy is just speaking in a church, and he talks about the things that Jesus went through on Friday, and he'll say, it's Friday. And then he'll say, but Sunday's coming. And he does that over and over and over.
That's good.
And then he gets to Sunday, and then Sunday came. I don't remember what it's called, but look that up on YouTube. That's neat to listen to. Wish I'd have had time to record it. I could have played it, but I didn't have time. Anyway, so everything going up good over that way?
As far as I know, everything's going good. Hadn't had any calls from the fire department, so guess they've been quiet, and that's a good thing. We appreciate all our firemen, though, and all the work they do and training they take. It's just amazing, but we're just thankful for them. Well, let's see. I don't have a single birthday or anniversary again this morning, so just nobody celebrating that I know, but we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And in my announcements, the Fairview Baptist Church will be having Easter sunrise service. Starts at 6:30, and following that they'll have breakfast and fellowship. And Atkins Creek Church will be having Easter sunrise service starting at 7:30, and following that in the fellowship hall with the donuts and coffee and juice, maybe some other things. But all these places are looking forward to a good service and a good breakfast and good fellowship on Sunday. And then I had another announcement come in yesterday. It's the Community Bible Study, the Book of Revelations, Current Global Events and End Time Prophecy series beginning Tuesday, April the 11th at 6 p.m. at the Golden Valley Church, and there'll be a light supper served from 5 to 5:45. And this is going to be on Tuesday evenings, and the church is at 1269 Golden Valley Church Road in Bostic. The Community Bible Study of Revelations is non-denominational, and everyone is welcome. Topic for Tuesday, April the 11th, Introduction to the Book of Revelations, Principles for Interpreting the Bible and Keys to Understanding the Prophecy in the Book of Revelations. So it sounds like a good Bible study coming up at the Golden Valley Church, and everyone's invited. And so far, that's the only announcements I have. It's just quiet and calm, looking for a good day, and I hope y'all have one.
All right, so you do the same. We'll talk to you Monday.
Okay,
Thanks.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Sue Price with that report from Sunshine Cherry Mountain Fire District. While you're over that way, I want you to stop into Washburn store and check that store out. They've got all the things that you need that you didn't think you had to have, but they got them in there. They've got gift ideas for anyone and everyone. They're the oldest family-owned and operated retail store in North Carolina, I believe in the entire United States, located on the Bostic Sunshine Highway in Bostic. Stop in and visit with Ann, Catherine, and Casey. It's like taking a walk through time. They've got garden seeds, flower seeds, pointer overalls, garden hats, that good old-fashioned stick candy. You can't beat that. Local honey, old-fashioned toys, lamps, cornmeal, molasses. Just have to stop in and see what they've got. Got small bags of lime and fertilizer, 10-10-10 grass seed for all those gardeners. Got to get those going here and get them ready. You can call them at 828-245-4129. The hours are Monday through Friday, 9:30 until 4:30, Saturday, 9:30 until 3, closed Wednesday and Sunday. That's Washburn Store on the Bostic Sunshine Highway. Go check them out.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call 1-800-211-1813. That's 1-800-211-1813. 800-211-1813.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Couldn't get a hold of Tina White this morning over in Shingle Hollow. I bet she took a vacation day, didn't put in for it.
I bet she
I might have
did.
to dock her
School's
pay for
out
that.
today.
Oh, yeah,
so
school's
they
out
have
today.
Probably gone on a
That's
little.
what I'd be doing. I'd be sleeping. We're going to head over to Brenda Kelly, though. Pull us up a rocker on the porch, and we're going to just sit and talk with Brenda a minute. Brenda, good morning.
Good morning. Sit in that rocker and wait on the rain to get here.
That's right. I said, my wife come in there last night, and she said, let's come out on the porch and let's watch it storm. Well,
Oh,
that's
no.
exactly what I want to do.
My husband used to do that. He'd go out there, and I'd just be scared to death.
I still do it. Like if there's a clouds coming over and they're swirling and all that, I like going out and looking up at the clouds and just, to me,
I got a lot of
I love
static
that.
on my phone.
Yep, I don't know what's happening there.
I
Hit
don't
that
either,
button again. Might be lightning somewhere.
Well, it's dark all around in the sky. What causes that interruption in y'all's thing ever so often? It just goes to something else. What is that?
I don't know. I wish if you could figure it out, we'd be glad to know.
Listen, that's your job, not mine.
I don't know. That's a little bug in the system somewhere, and
It's been doing that for a long time.
It has just about ever since we went FM.
Yep, that's right. That's exactly right.
It's almost like it kind of like the like when you're on the internet and you're looking at a video, you've probably heard the term buffering. It sounds
No,
like that's
because
what
I
it's-
don't know nothing about that.
It seems like that's what it's doing. It's buffered and then it'll stop, and then it'll. But then usually if it buffers, it'll keep playing where it cut off. But ours don't do that. It just keeps on going. So I don't know.
You got gremlins in it.
Gremlins in there. We're gonna have to figure them out.
I know it. It's aggravating. And I didn't like that program this morning, that gospel, whatever it was, for 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
Well, that's just the way it is. I didn't get to hear any of it, so I don't know.
I mean, it was good music, but I guess it's because I'm just not used to. I'm not used to that. And I thought, why don't you just leave good enough alone?
That's right.
So that's how it is.
That's how it is. Really?
It says at the end it said, if you like this, call and let us know. Well, I didn't like it, so there you go.
There you go.
Well, you just call and let them know.
I just told you. Well, let's see. I've got 60 degrees on the front porch, and I don't have but one birthday today, and that's little Patient Samuel. So I hope she has a great old big birthday on her special day. I remember when that little girl was born because her mama was at my house that night and spent the night, and the next morning we took her to the hospital. So I remember that very well. And in ways of announcements, Friday, that's this afternoon, 6 p.m. at the Union Mills Learning Center. They're going to have a chicken sandwich meal, and the cost is $6. And at 7 p.m., Homegrown Band will open for Jordan River Band from South Carolina. There's no admission, but they have a tip jar available for the band. And then we got sunrise services at Far City Church of the Nazarene, 7 a.m., April the 9th, which is Easter Sunday. Today's Good Friday. That's when you're supposed to plant your gardens, but it's too wet to plant them.
Yeah, that gets you planting done today, I believe it is, and everything.
Green beans and stuff like that, but it's too wet. You can't get out there and plant it, and it's going to be pouring down rain. So
I went out one time years ago, and I spent 30. Well, we're off the air again. So we'll wait for it to come back on. We'll just keep talking until it comes back on. There we go. There we go. So I went out years ago over to Lowe's or Walmart or something. Karen wanted some tomatoes. So we go and we spend $35 or something just to get stuff to grow tomatoes. Had them sitting out there, and they were growing good. And my mama decided at one point she was going to weed eat all the weeds from around it, but she used Roundup.
Oh Lord!
So I got 5 tomatoes off of them vines before they died. Now them's for let's see, that's $7.50 a tomato.
Yeah.
Them was the best tomatoes I ever ate in my life. Now, were they really? Nope. But I paid $7 for them tomatoes, and them was good.
I remember one time Donald had planted our garden, and he had a thing that he put Roundup in, and then he had a thing he put stuff in to spray for bugs. And our son come over, this wasn't long before he died, and Donald couldn't hardly do it. And he said, "Daddy, I'll go out there and spray them bugs for you." So he grabbed the wrong one. Our whole garden was gone. It had Roundup in it.
I remember.
I won't never forget. I said, "Oh, Lord."
Hey, it's funny right now, but it sure wasn't then, was it?
No, when you look back, you think, "Oh, my goodness."
I don't remember years ago what I did, but I did something for Lou. And her mama made me some chocolate oatmeal cookies.
Yeah.
Oh, I had me the biggest plate of chocolate oatmeal cookies, and I went home. I got up the next morning, and a darn little mouse had eat through the top of them things and had eat down into my little my chocolate oatmeal cookies. And I set out some traps, and I caught that little rascal, and he still smelled like chocolate oatmeal cookies. I thrown him out in the yard. I was so mad at that little mouse. He was dead, and I still throwed him in the yard.
Y'all better go down to Ellenburg and check on Luther. See if he's okay.
Brenda, have a good one.
Okay, you
Thanks.
too. Catch you later.
Happy Easter.
You ever think you'd be so mad at a little mouse? I'm like, throw him out in the yard. Like that's going to make a difference. There's probably 4 more
But
in the
it
house.
felt good, though, didn't it?
We're going to check in with Luther after this.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Luther Gillikin with us this morning. Luther, what's going on down in Ellenboro?
It's raining.
Raining, all right.
Yeah, it's shorted up there, but hey, that's good. The ground needs the moisture.
That's right.
Help the crops grow later this year.
That's right.
But it's quiet this morning. Nothing going on. Everything's peaceful. School's out. State offices are closed. Not everybody going, but it's quiet. See, the fire department had 3 medical calls. Had 2 of them yesterday, one about 2 o'clock this morning. Other than that, they're quiet with him right now. But want to remind everybody, the big yard sale coming up first Saturday in May. To get you gathered up all your goodies and take them out to the yard sale first Saturday in May. So nothing else going on. You have a great day up there. We'll talk to you Monday.
All right, Luther. Have a good one. We'll see you then.
All right. Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Luther Gillikin wraps up our call around report for this Friday. Folks, Granny B's is the place to go if you're hungry. These are headquarters for the delicious donuts, Orange Twist, Long John's, cream-filled donuts, or just a plain traditional glazed donut. You can also enjoy a delicious fresh sub sandwich, or if you don't want the bread, you can get a salad instead. For birthdays, showers, or any occasion, call on Granny B's for their delicious cakes or pettifours. They're open Tuesday through Friday, 9 a.m. until 7 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. until 6, closed Mondays and Wednesdays. Call them at 286-9012. Granny B's, 322 West Main Street in Spindale. Birthdays and anniversaries, if you're celebrating a birthday or anniversary today, give me a call, 287-3356. We're going to give away a cupcake courtesy of the Whistle Stop Bakery in Boston.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale. When we work together, we focus what's important to you. We create a personalized strategy backed by our advice, our tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we partner together to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me at any time at 828
business before the court, but his gifts and his access to the court's most senior conservative member have sparked concern.
The ABC's Terry Moran, the donor, saying in a statement the two are personal friends and never discussed any cases. Racism, dirty politics, or both being alleged at the Tennessee state capitol. The Republicans voted last night to oust two black Democratic lawmakers while nearly ousting a third white Democrat for supporting gun control activists who demonstrated inside the building. The white lawmaker, Gloria Johnson, survived the vote barely and says race was a factor.
We will not be divided. I don't know what else it was.
Tennessee House Speaker Cameron Sexton, a Republican, says all three Democrats received the same due process. You're listening to ABC News.
Imagine it's the last ride, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are taking you for a ride. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about treating it with Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Texas launches a new initiative to stop the rising number of fentanyl deaths.
This is Jim Ryan.
He was a 30-year-old genius IQ with
Like any mom, Debbie Peterson is proud of her son, Matt.
He was an avid skateboarder, musician. Matt did not want to die.
16 months ago, Matt Peterson did die.
One oxy pill should not have killed him, but it did.
The pill had been laced with fentanyl. Governor Greg Abbott's promise to Debbie Peterson at the One Pill Kills Summit.
We're going to work every day at the Capitol.
The state has launched a $10 million campaign to raise public awareness and to send doses of the fentanyl antidote Narcan to every sheriff's office in Texas. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Japanese, U.S., and South Korean nuclear negotiators meeting in Seoul, saying they're open to possible dialogue with North Korea. Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs talking North Korea's recent missile tests.
We strongly condemn these actions by North Korea as they pose a grave threat to the peace and security of the region and beyond.
South Korea, the U.S., and Japan called for a ban on North Korea sending workers abroad as part of efforts to curb North Korea's nuclear program. Chipotle has won the battle of the burrito bowls. Sweet Green has agreed to change the name of its Chipotle chicken burrito bowl after facing a lawsuit. Fast food rival Chipotle argued the product infringed on its trademark. Sweet Green now calling its new menu item the Chicken and Chipotle Pepper Bowl. This is ABC News.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Online at CordellCordell.com. 5580 Place, Suite 900, Greenville, South Carolina, 29601. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
I'm Derek Dennis.
Rutherford County, you've got a brand new business called the Relatively Crafty Market. It's a warehouse full of awesome vendors where you'll find unique gifts like handmade home decor, repurposed furniture pieces, jewelry, signs, bath and body products, children's gifts, and a whole lot more. It's a mixture of old and new coming together to create the perfect market. Hours are Monday through Thursday, 10 to 5, Friday and Saturday, 10 to 7, and Sundays, 11 to 4. Call 980-1197. That's the Relatively Crafty Vendor Market, 114 Michael Drive in Forest City, in the old former Kids Play building off Doggett Road. Lou Gillum in the Blue Room. Your forecast for today is going to be cloudy, chance of showers, highs around 60. Cloudy tonight, chance of showers, lows around 40, but that wind chill as low as 35 degrees. Cloudy tomorrow, chance of showers, highs around 45, but that wind chill as low as 35 degrees. For tomorrow night, cloudy, chance of showers, lows around 40, but that wind chill around freezing. For Sunday, partly cloudy, highs around 60. Partly cloudy overnight, lows around 40. That's your forecast on 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB, Rutherfordton. Right now, 64 degrees, mostly cloudy, and it looks like we got some light rain in the area. Make sure you turn your headlights on. Remember, that's the law in North Carolina. If it's raining, your windshield wipers are on, turn your headlights on. Well, if you want to know everything you want to know about real estate, you can learn it right now. Beth Helton's in the blue room. Good morning, Beth.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good.
What are you talking about today?
Well, we're going to talk about seller's estimated net sheet. When you go to sell your house, a lot of people are like, I don't want to pay a realtor commission. Well, it's built into the price of the house. So when you see somebody had gotten $350,000 for their house, they didn't get that money because it's broken up. So I thought I would kind of explain to some sellers that this is what you're doing when you hire a professional to help you sell your home.
Such as you.
Such as myself, yes. Good call, yes. You're so wise. Yep. When we price a house, first off, we do a CMA, which is a comparative market analysis, and that basically is looking at your house compared to other houses that are similar. And like if your house has 2 bedrooms and a half bath, but one of the comparable properties only has 2 baths and not a half, we kind of have to adjust that property to make it match yours, which also reflects in that figure. So by the time we get it all said and done, we give you a market price for your house. So when we give you a seller net sheet, let's say I've got one here that we've got a house listed for $339,900. If there's a mortgage, we'll put a figure in there. If they owe anything on the house, attorney's fees, I always put about $1,000 in their attorney fee. This is the seller's attorney fee. Seller's usually not going to be $1,000 for their attorney's fees because there's not as much paperwork. But I'm putting in $1,000 because I'd rather go higher and than go too low. Then the brokerage fee, our firm does 6% for residential and 10% for land and commercial. And then if you're going to pay any closing expenses for the buyer, which I always put in $5,000 because most buyers need help with closing costs, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. If you've just sold a house and you're trying to buy a house, you may not need help, but most buyers do need some assistance with that. So I go ahead and I put it in here. Now, the seller's not required to pay any closing costs for the buyer, but sometimes you kind of need to just to help them get in the house. And then if you're going to do a home warranty or anything like that, we put those figures in here. And then the prorated taxes, you're responsible for your taxes from January 1 until the day you close on your house. Well, I don't know what that day is going to be when I figure out this estimated net sheet. So I just put in the whole tax amount. And then you're going to have to pay revenue stamps. Revenue stamps are $2 per thousand of the sales price. So by the time we get through with this net sheet, if you sold your house for $339,900, and we put in some closing costs for the buyer, you're going to be paying $29,231 out, but you're going to pocket $310,668 that you get. When the attorney gives the seller the check at closing, that is the seller's money. You don't pay me out of it. You don't pay the attorney out. You don't pay anybody out of it. The attorney takes everything they need out of your proceeds before they give it to you. Now the buyer, and this seller estimated net sheet, it has 3 columns. So you can say, because we don't know what a house is going to sell for. And sometimes a seller has got to clear a certain amount of money to be able to do whatever they've got to do. So, I'll put 3 figures. I've got $339, $329, and $315. So at either of those sale prices, they'll know about how much they'll be taking home. If you have listed a property and your agent has not given you a seller net sheet, you need to ask them for one, because this really, it gives the seller more of a control feeling and a knowing of what they can expect. Because if the house is on the market for 2 or 3 months and you're like, okay, we need to lower the price, but what's that going to do? How much am I going to get if I do that? The seller net sheet kind of helps with that. Now the buyer, The buyer's got closing costs. Well, they've got attorney's fees. They've got things that they've got to pay up front. See, buying a house is easy peasy. It's getting into the thing that's a problem, because you got to pay an appraisal. So when you get under contract, your lender is going to order an appraisal, but not until you give them a check. So you're paying that out of pocket. If you want a home inspection, that's anywhere from $350 to $500. That's going to come out of your pocket. If you need a re-inspection to make sure that any repairs that you had requested had been done, that's going to come out of your pocket. You've got to pay for movers. You've got to pay for utilities to be put in your name. You've got to pay any closing costs that the seller doesn't help you with. And there's a maximum that the sellers are allowed to do. So if somebody gets, I think a VA loan will allow the seller to contribute 6%. I think FHA will only allow them 3%. Don't quote me on that, because I'm not a finance person, but I've got that written down on my wall at my office, because I'm like, and sometimes I've requested $5,000, and the credit union's called up and they're like, Beth, they can't do $5,000. I'm like, why not? He said, well, they can do $4,700. I'm like, seriously? They're like, yeah, because they've reached that threshold that we can only allow a certain percentage of their, money to go towards closing costs. So it's like, great. So, then the buyer's got their own closing costs. They've got their own costs to get into the house. They've got their origination fees, loan fees, credit check fees, a whole list of things that they have to pay. That's why their closing costs are so much. And it doesn't help if they've got bad credit or low credit score, because that will affect it as well. So when a seller goes to sell their house, understand you're paying for a service when you pay a broker's fee. It's just like, you're not going to come to my house and ask me to clean your teeth. No, you're going to go to a professional, somebody that knows what they're doing. And that's the way it is with real estate. You've got the biggest financial investment of your life, and you're going to try to handle it on your own when you don't know what the market is doing or what it looks like it may be doing. Really? Do you think that's really the wisest use of your time and your energy? Probably not. Let the professionals do it. Let them take the stress off of you. When we come to list your house, we have to measure it. I'm not taking that property card square footage as gospel at all, because 9 times out of 10 they're wrong. And it's not wrong because they're intended to be wrong. Just sometimes it's off a couple hundred square feet, which makes a difference to some people. So we have to measure it. We'll take pictures. We will point out things to you that we think need attention. Like if a shutter is cattywampus, or if you've got a crack in the foundation, we may say, have you looked into this? Do we know what the problem is? Is it structural? Is it settlement? If it's bad enough, we may suggest they get an engineer to come out. If we can't find a septic permit, we have to request a septic permit from the health department to show how many bedrooms the septic is for. So if you have a 5-bedroom house and that septic permit comes back and says number of bedrooms allowed 3, we cannot list it as a 5-bedroom house. Cannot do it. That's misrepresentation. I'm not losing my license over 2 bedrooms. So what we do is we can sometimes get a septic guy to come out and say, is this really a 3-bedroom? Do we have room to expand it to a 5? Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. But if the seller is adamant, I want it listed as a 5-bedroom, I'm sorry, I can't help you. But what we can do is in the comments, we can say 2 additional rooms have been used by the seller as bedrooms. That's the way you get around that. Even though when people are looking for a 5-bedroom house and they see a 3, they may just bypass your house altogether. But if they stop and read, then they'll see, because we put as much information in the comments as we can to make it as desirable as possible. So I tell you, it's a very interesting business to be in. Prices are starting to come down, which is a good thing. Things are staying on the market longer, which is a good thing. We still only have about 2 months worth of inventory. We need 6 months to be balanced. And then anything above 6 months is a buyer's market. So we're still in a seller's market. We'll be in a seller's market for a while, but do not think that that means that you're going to get the money today that you could have gotten last year. Those days are gone.
I walk into a house and I see some things that need to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of asking the seller to do it, which there's a chance that they may just stick a Band-Aid on it and let it go, would it be best that I make an offer on the house saying, I'll get this fixed, but I'm making this offer because I'm going to have to get it fixed? Which would be better, take a chance with them getting it fixed or go ahead and do it yourself?
Well, it just kind of depends. If you're not under contract and you just sort of notice these things, what I like to try to do is put in, we have another form called additional provisions addendum. So like if you see a cracked window, we want that to be replaced. I want them to replace it. I want them to do anything that they will do that will, if they'll do it right. So in the additional provisions addendum, I will say replace cracked window in upper right front bedroom or wherever it is. You need to be specific. They can say yes, they can say no. If it's some things that after going through the house, you see a lot of stuff that needs maintenance, and you're like, I'm not really sure that they're going to fix it the right way, then we would make an offer based on, we've noticed some things that need attention, and therefore we are making a lower offer so that we will have money to fix these things. Or if you really, really, really want a house, and you can say, we're not asking you to fix anything. We're taking it as is, even if we do a home inspection, which I always recommend a home inspection, so you know what you're getting. And their job is to pick out every little nitpicky thing that they can find. That's their job. Now, our job as realtors is not to ask the seller to fix every little nitpicky thing, but if there's some things of major concern, then I'm going to go back and say, we want to buy this house, and we were going to, not ask you to fix anything, but we found a couple of major things that are pretty big ticket items that your homeowner's insurance may cover. So if we see an active roof leak, your homeowner's insurance may replace that roof. So they wouldn't have to come out of pocket. So I tend to, it just kind of depends to me on what the rest of the house looks like. I have had several offers where, let's make an offer and you tell them I don't want you to fix anything. And sometimes they'll accept the offer that way, because if the seller doesn't have to worry about coming out of pocket any more money than they have to, then they're kind of, okay, we'll do this. This makes me feel good. Because, there's the two negotiations. The first one is getting under contract, and then the second one is the repairs. And with a home inspection, if you find stuff in there that you can fix or people that can fix, then you can just, say, we're good, we'll take it as it is, no big deal. Or you can say, we want you to come off the price. Sometimes they'll be glad to come off the price. Sometimes what you do, too, is you get a quote for fixing this stuff and then take it to the seller and say, we'd like for you to come off the price because of these repairs, and here's a quote that we found to fix it, and we will have this fixed ourselves, but this is why we want you to come off so much. So you're not just pulling a number out of the air.
Well, if you want to know about real estate, the lady to call is Beth Helton, and her number is
704-853-9060.
We'll see you next Friday.
I'll be here.
Ooh, this North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club espresso is strong.
Pace yourself. New winners tend to overdo it on the coffee. And with new scratch-offs out, well...
Hey guys, I'm a new winner. My name's Steve. What's your name? I really love this coffee. Wow, this place is great. Glad I grabbed a new scratch-off. Okay, nice to meet you. Gonna get a massage. Ooh, I think I need to relax.
Told ya.
This month's tickets pack $60 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds. Winning range from 1 in 3.57 to 4.84. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
For complete and professional auto service, visit Tri-City Tire. They care about their customers, and it shows. They offer complete auto services in brakes, alignments, tune-ups, oil changes, inspections, also lift kits, and of course, complete tire service. Also tires for commercial, farm tractors, and ATVs. They also carry mowers and power equipment by Red Max. Tri-City Tire Service, 221 Daniel Road in Forest City, or call 828-287-8778. Tri-City Tire Service, your local tire and auto service center.
This is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates, wanting to let you know that we have moved. Our new office is located at 245 East Main Street in Forest City. Come see us for auto, home, or your commercial insurance needs. Also come see me, Dwayne Hunt, for your Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage, or prescription drug plans. See us at Insurance Service Associates, now located at 245 East Main Street in Forest City, or call 828-245-5301.
Past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Office has answered 118 calls, processed 12 arrests, and currently have 183 incarcerated. Under our arrest reports, we have a Robert Jr. Smith, 27-year-old white male of Union Mills, charged with resisting an officer, given a $1,000 secure bond. Ronnie Caleb Maccabee, 30-year-old white male of Far City, charged with failure to appear on a misdemeanor, given $500 unsecured bond. Sabrina K. McClure, 36-year-old white female, Union Mills, charged with possession of methamphetamine, given a $1,500 secured bond. Ronald Brandon Green, 42-year-old white male of Ellenboro, charged with failure to appear on a misdemeanor, 2 counts, given a $1,000 bond. Adam Kyle Tipton, 35-year-old white male of Ellenboro, charged with violation of release order, a domestic violence protection order violation, and assault with deadly weapon. Looks like he was given no bond on that. Austin Skylar Black, 28-year-old white male of Shelby, charged with possession of Schedule 2, possession of drug paraphernalia, given a $10,000 unsecured bond. Floyd Ray Oliver, 56-year-old white male of Far City, charged with 4 counts of failure to appear, given a $500 secure bond. Sherry Lynn Thompson, 32-year-old white female of Spindale, charged with 3 counts of failure to appear, given a $1,000 secure bond. Jadisk Hush, 19-year-old black male of Shelby, charged with 5 counts of failure to appear on a felony, given a $5,000 secure bond. Dominique Connor, 21-year-old black male of Ellenboro, charged with 2 counts of failure to appear, given a $500 secure bond. Krista Richardson, 49-year-old white female of Far City, charged with possession marijuana paraphernalia and possession marijuana, given a written promise on that. David Allen Wilson, 50-year-old white male of Rutherford, charged with 4 counts of failure to appear, given a $500 secure bond. Christopher Michael Mitchell, 37-year-old black male of Far City, charged with 8 counts of failure to appear, given a $57,000 secure bond. Under our incident reports, we have 2 for you this morning. Damage to real property occurred, Orange Street, Ellenboro. Looks like somebody busted the rear window of a vehicle in that incident. And we have an incident of safe cracking, Highland Avenue, Mooresboro. And that's all we have this morning, sir.
The 2023 Atlanta Braves are back, and with a loaded roster of young talent and some new faces in the A, it's going to be another wild season.
Riley hammers one, deep left field, bombs away!
Tonight, Truist Park comes alive for a massive home opener as the Braves take on the San Diego Padres in Atlanta. Braves Radio goes on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
In the books, correspondent Graham Agars is in Augusta and has a wrap-up on the first day's activities.
There is a 3-way tie at the top of the leaderboard after the first day's play at the Masters, with John Rahm, Victor Hovland and Brooks Koepka sharing the lead at 7 under after posting 65s. They are 2 clear of the informed duo of Jason Day and Cameron Young. Defending champion Scotty Scheffler is among those well-placed 1 further back at 4 under, and former champion Jordan Spieth heads a group still in touch at 3 under the card. Tough day for Rory McIlroy, who struggled to post an even par 72, and Tiger Woods, who had a 74. Graham Agars, Augusta.
As for Tiger Woods, after the disappointing round, he told reporters he's still hopeful for the rest of the tournament.
If I can just kind of hang in there, maybe kind of inch my way back, hopefully it'll be, positive towards the end.
Tiger Woods after the first round yesterday. Great goaltending helping keep the Nashville Predators' improbable playoff hopes alive. Last night, Mark Jankowski had a goal and an assist in the first period, and the young Predators beat the Carolina Hurricanes 3-0.
Yeah, I think just top to bottom, our whole team was kind of going, and our line was going to right from the start. It was a great play by Stas on the shorthanded goal to find me there, and then great play by Macker slinging the puck to the net there and getting a good bounce. So, yeah, I think overall it was a good game for us, top to bottom.
Orlando Arcia singled in the winning run in the ninth inning for his third hit. The Atlanta Braves beat the San Diego Padres 7-6 in their home opener. Braves manager Brian Snitker.
We just put the ball in play. Didn't have to use a homer. It was in the eighth inning and just had some good at-bats. Guys putting the ball in play. Good things happen.
You're listening to NCN Sports.
Family-owned and Carolina-based, Coastal Agribusiness is in its 70th year of serving agricultural communities. Bob Peel is Coastal's Precision Services Manager.
We need to know what's working on your acre, because what works 50 miles down the road might not work at your home farm. So we're trying to put all that together, take the data from your farm, your practices, what fits your footprint, and help you be better with what you want to implement on your farm. Pulling that data out at the end of the year is basically your report card. So you look at your different subjects and say, I did good there, I didn't do good here, I need to make improvements on these areas and maintain what I'm doing in these other ones. Putting the whole season, putting the whole picture together for our growers and helping them be better going into the following season.
See more at coastalagro.com. Coastal Agribusiness, solutions for a productive future.
Another regulation dealing with transgender athletes. Here's Sagar Magani.
It's a political counterpunch as GOP-led states try to ban trans athletes from school sports that align with their gender identities. The rule would stop any school or college getting federal funding from categorically banning trans students from sports teams.
Lou Gillum in the Blue Room. Your forecast for today is going to be cloudy, chance of showers, highs around 60. Cloudy tonight, chance of showers, lows around 40, but that wind chill as low as 35 degrees. Cloudy tomorrow, chance of showers, highs around 45, but that wind chill as low as 35 degrees. For tomorrow night, cloudy, chance of showers, lows around 40, but that wind chill around freezing. For Sunday, partly cloudy, highs around 60. Partly cloudy overnight, lows around 40. That's your forecast on 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB, Rutherfordton.
Hello, welcome to the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program, or you may be watching my internet today. We'd like to welcome you. My name is Gerald Sutherland. This is my wife, Linda, and we're here to share some things with you today from the Word of God, things that God has put upon our hearts that have made a difference in our lives, and we trust it'll make a difference in your life too. We thank you for coming to be with us today. I'm going to direct your attention today, first of all, if you have your Bible, please open them with me to Psalms 119. Psalm 119. Shouldn't be too hard to find because that's the longest chapter in the Bible. And so we'll give you a moment to find that. Psalm 119. I'm going to be reading from verse 7. The psalmist said, I will praise and give thanks to you with uprightness of heart when I learn by sanctified experiences your righteous judgments, your decisions against, and punishments for particular lines of thought and conduct. You will learn, through sanctified experiences, you will learn the ways of God. You will learn the way God is, the way God directs, the way God leads. And we're going to be talking to you today and sharing some personal experiences with you today in regard to those sanctified experiences. I also want to lead you to the book of Proverbs, chapter 3. Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 13. I'll read a few verses there. Happy, blessed, fortunate, enviable is the man who finds skillful and godly wisdom. Skillful and godly wisdom. And the man who gets understanding. And then it says, drawing it forth from God's word and life's experiences. There again, we're talking about the experiences that we have in our lives, that we learn to know God. It goes on to say, for the gaining of it, that's that godly wisdom, the gaining of it is better than the gaining of silver, and the profit of it better than fine gold. You know, it's sad to say, but so many people in the world are not seeking after that godly wisdom. They're seeking after the gold and the silver, the material things of the world, instead of the godly wisdom. But God said his wisdom is greater than that. Verse 15 says, skillful and godly wisdom is more precious than rubies. And nothing, absolutely nothing you can wish for is to be compared to that godly wisdom. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are highways of pleasantness, still talking about skillful and godly wisdom. And all her paths are peace. She's a tree of life. We want that, don't we? She's a tree of life to those who lay hold on her. And happy, blessed, fortunate, to be envied is everyone who holds her fast. That godly wisdom gives us the ability to make righteous decisions.
That's right.
To know what God would have us to do in every situation, to know what God would have us to say or to not say, wherever we might be and whatever we might be involved in. But that godly wisdom leads us into the knowledge of God, into the ways of God, so that we can serve him better. Back to Psalms again now, Psalm 92. The psalmist says in Psalm 92, verse 12, the uncompromisingly righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. That's good news. Be long-lived, stately, upright, useful, and fruitful. And they shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. That's a wonderful example, isn't it? Majestic, stable, durable, and incorruptible. And planted in the house of the Lord, they shall flourish in the courts of our God. Growing in grace. That grace is God's ability, working on the inside of us to conform us to his plan, his purpose for our lives. Growing in grace, they shall still bring forth fruit in old age. That's good news, isn't it?
Yes.
They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be full of sap, of spiritual vitality, and rich in the verdure of trust, love, and contentment. And then in verse 15, the psalmist says, they are living memorials. There are a lot of memorials out there in cemeteries and places like that, maybe even have inscriptions on them about the person that's buried there in that place. But those are dead memorials. But God says we can be a living memorial.
That's right.
We want to be a living memorial, an example to show that the Lord is upright. We want to show that God is God. We want our lives to be an example, a memorial to those that follow after us. And you know, I often wonder, what kind of a legacy are we leaving for our children and our grandchildren to follow? What examples are we in their lives so that they can know that God is God, that he is upright, that he is faithful, and he's faithful to his promises. He is our rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. We want that in our lives, don't we?
That's right.
We want to be able to be that example. Over to the book of Joshua now, the Old Testament, the book of Joshua. The children of Israel had just crossed over the Red Sea. They'd gone out into the wilderness. They'd been led through the wilderness, and now God is beginning to prepare them to go into the land of promise. And in Joshua chapter 3, verse 17, it says, and while all Israel passed over on dry ground, now this is crossing the Jordan River into the land of promise, and God had to part the waters again as he did at the Red Sea.
That's right.
He had to part the waters of the Jordan River for them to cross over into the promised land. As they passed over, the priests who bore the ark of the covenant of the Lord stood firm on dry ground in the midst of the Jordan until all the nation finished passing over the Jordan. The entire nation passed over the Jordan, but on dry ground. And chapter 4, verse 1 says, when all the nation had fully passed over the Jordan, the Lord said to Joshua, take 12 men from among the people, 1 man out of every tribe, and command them, take 12 stones out of the midst of the Jordan, from the place where the priest's feet stood firm, and carry them over with you, and leave them at the place where you lodge tonight. Then Joshua called the 12 men of the Israelites, whom he had appointed, a man from each tribe. And Joshua said to them, pass over before the ark of the Lord your God in the midst of the Jordan, and take up every man of you a stone on his shoulder, as is the number of the tribes of the Israelites, that this may be a sign. Now that's a very important word there. That this may be a sign or a landmark among you, when your children ask in time to come, what do these stones mean to you? Then you shall tell them that the waters of the Jordan were cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord when it passed over the Jordan. The waters of Jordan were cut off. So these stones shall be to the Israelites a memorial forever. They shall be as a memorial forever. They shall be as a landmark, we could say, to show them God did something here. And they'll be able to say to their children and to their grandchildren, as we were approaching the Jordan River and it was at flood stage and we couldn't go across to the promised land, God parted the waters and we walked across on dry ground. That's quite a legacy, isn't it?
Yes, and a time when they knew they could do nothing about it. There was absolutely, unless God intervened, there was nothing that could be done.
That's right.
And so we've had some of those experiences in our life. And the one I'm going to share with you right now happened this next week, will be 53 years ago. We lived in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and our son, our youngest son, was due to be born in just a few weeks. And about the time I was 7 months pregnant, I began to have some physical difficulties in that pregnancy. And then as it grew on, when it was about 5 weeks, I had some very more difficulties. And I went to the hospital on a Saturday morning. And they treated me and they admitted me. And I did better. They gave me a blood transfusion. And they said if I was still doing good on that next morning, which happened to be a Sunday morning, that I could go home. Well, during that night, things began to turn back worse again. And it was apparent that that baby was going to go ahead and come, even though it was 5 weeks premature. And there was a lot of difficulties. I had a very sweet doctor, a man, Dr. Daniels, who stayed right with me the whole time. And he told me at one point, he said, I have to tell you that I'm not going to be able to save both of you. He said, I can't save you and the baby, and so it's going to have to be you. And so I'm there in the midst of a news I did not want to hear at all. I was not really prepared to hear. But as I lay there, as they were working and doing all they could do, I cried out to Jesus. And I said, Jesus, if you will save this baby, meaning if you'll make him whole, do whatever it takes, make him well, none of the things that could happen to him to happen. I said, if you will save this baby, I will do anything you want me to do. And so right there, I, not really understanding what I was doing. And I was not born again at this time. Gerald and I were not born again. We were very religious and had been grown up since I can remember. I knew about Jesus, but I still did not have him in my heart as my personal Lord and Savior. I was not born again. But in the midst of that, I'm so grateful. What rolled up out of me was, Jesus, if you'll save him, because it was one of those experiences where there was nothing I could do, and the doctors had already told me there was nothing more they could do. But I want you to know that little boy was born. I didn't know what it was. We didn't know if it was a girl or a boy at that time, was born. And they said many things could happen to him. many things they expected, being premature like that would happen to
They said
him.
he wouldn't be normal.
Wouldn't be normal.
He wouldn't be able to learn well. He would not be very active.
Right. And so they whisked him off really quick to a nursery where they would take care of him. And but I want you to know that not one of those things happened. Not one of those things happened in his life. It's perfectly normal, learned, grew up, perfectly normal. And so we're so grateful and so thankful to God for it. And another amazing thing that happened in that, everybody else was very concerned, and I'm not saying I wasn't concerned at all, but the peace of God came on me to where I knew he was going to be okay.
Yes.
He was going to be all right. Everything was going to be all right. Now that was tested because he stayed in the hospital by himself there for 2.5 weeks. They had many different things that
Yes.
ruled the situation at that time. We didn't get to hold him. We didn't get to feed him. We didn't really get to see him except to look at him through a glass. And so that was a trying time. But at the same time, I knew he was going to be okay. And so that right there proved and made a landmark in my heart that God could be trusted.
That God was faithful.
And from that moment on, when I said, God, I'll do anything you want me to do, God began to work. God began to work in our lives, and 5 months later, we moved from Fayetteville to Rocky Mount, North Carolina, where God continued to work in our lives. It took that for his plan and his purpose to be fulfilled in our hearts.
And you know, we can look back now and see that it was a sanctified experience, because it was absolutely nothing that we could do in the natural. But it was a matter of believing God. Even though we weren't born again, both of us had a reverential fear of God in our hearts.
Right.
Because we'd been brought up with that. And we knew enough to know that we needed prayer.
Right.
And I'll never forget when they were working with you and working about the baby's birth and so forth. I found a phone somewhere. We didn't have cell phones back then. But I found a phone somewhere, and I called my family, and I asked them to ask a neighbor of ours that we knew could pray, Mrs. Taylor. I said, would you please call Mrs. Taylor and ask her to pray? And I told them the situation. And they did, and I'm sure that prayer also had a lot to do with it. But God gave me recently a definition for a sanctified experience. This is what he gave me. He said a sanctified experience is a situation or a circumstance over which you have no control, and we had that causes you to turn to God in dependence on him. And through that, you learn that he can be trusted with your life. And we learned that. We began to learn that during that time, because it was a time we had no control over it. It was a circumstance that was not very pleasant at that time, but we can look back and we can see that it started us on a path to want to know God. If our God loved us enough, and if our God was faithful to his promises and faithful to his word, that he would do that for us, we wanted to know him.
That's right. And also, it's so important that you submit to him in the midst of those situations. I have a scripture here from the book of Job, chapter 36, verse 21. Take heed, that means listen. Turn not to iniquity or sin, for this iniquity of complaining against God you have chosen rather than submission and affliction. See, you can submit in the midst of that sanctified experience, affliction as it puts it here, or you can begin to complain. You can say, why is this happening to me after all this, and why this and why that, instead of just turning to him.
Job went through that too.
He did.
He really did.
And his friend Elihu tried to help him with that. But then on down in verse 24 it says, remember that by submission you magnify God's work. And so in the midst of that sanctified experience, if you will turn your heart to God, submit to him, look and trust him to know that he is your way out, he is the one that will bring you out of the situation, then he will be glorified and magnified.
And sometimes those circumstances and situations seem to get worse instead of better at the moment. But if you trust God and rely on Him, that endurance, that steadfastness that God wants to work in us will begin to take hold, and we'll begin to have and experience the peace of God, knowing that whatever, however long it takes, God is God and God is faithful. I was reminded as you were sharing that, a scripture in 1 Corinthians chapter 10. I'm just going to read one verse, verse 13. For no temptation, no trial regarded as enticing to sin, and that sin, of course, being doubting God, no matter how it comes or where it leads, has overtaken you and laid hold on you that is not common to man. That is, no temptation or trial has come to you that is beyond human resistance, and that is not adjusted and adapted and belonging to human experience, and such as man can bear. But listen now, but God is faithful. He's faithful to His word, and He's faithful to His compassionate nature, and He can be trusted. I love those words.
Right.
He can be trusted, not to let you be tempted and tried and assayed beyond your ability and strength of resistance and power to endure, but with the temptation, He will always also provide the way out, the means of escape to a landing place, that you may be capable and strong and powerful to bear up under it patiently. And that's what God did for us at that time, to bring us to that place, a landing place of the peace of God, even though, like she said, he was in intensive care for 15 days, 2.5 weeks. The day came that we saw the breakthrough, and we brought him home, and he's been growing ever since. He's a grown man, has a family now. And so we are so grateful to God for that experience. We've had many experiences.
Many different kinds of experiences.
We'll soon be married 60 years in just a few months. So we've had a lot of experiences. Some of them were sanctified experiences. I wish they all had been, but unfortunately they were not, because we didn't turn our hearts to God. But on those times when we did, we saw that God was faithful.
Other situations, at a point in our life, we realized that God was calling us to be ministers of His, and we went into full-time ministry. And so we moved from a small town in South Carolina to Greenville, South Carolina, to start a work there that God was leading us to start. And so we moved, and of course you have to have a place to live. Well, we looked at many houses in the Greenville area and found nothing that we felt like God wanted us to have or that was right for us. And we contacted a real estate agent, and he helped us as much as he could. And so one day we got a phone call from that real estate agent, and he said, there's a house that is just going on the market. We've not even put it on there yet. It has just become available. It's for lease, and we just wondered if you all would like to look at that house. And so we said, well, yes, we would, because we knew we must have looked at over 25, 30 houses in the area. A long time. But God had given us His word. And I want to share a scripture with you over in Mark 10, chapter 10, and God's with His disciples, and Peter is having a little bit opportunity to complain because he had given up everything to go and serve God. And so it says, Peter started to say to him in Mark 10, verse 28, Peter started to say to him, behold, we've yielded up, abandoned everything once for all, and joined you as your disciple, siding with your party, and accompanied you. And Jesus said, well, I tell you truly, there is no one who has given up, left house, brothers, sisters, mothers, father, children, or lands for my sake and the gospel's, who will not receive 100 times as much now in this time, houses, brothers, sisters, mothers, children, lands, with persecutions, and in the age to come, eternal life. And so God gave us that scripture. So in this process of believing Him for our house, we went back to that many times, saying, God, the reason we did move is because of what you wanted us to do. And so we didn't complain. We just said, we'll see what you said, so we can be assured you have a house for us. Whether it's to lease, to rent, to buy, whatever, you've got a place for us, because we're here to accomplish your purpose and to do what you want us to do. And so we went to see that house, made an appointment, went, and the real estate agent forgot the key. So we couldn't get in the house.
And we didn't even know how much it was going to cost.
We didn't know how much it was going to cost, didn't know anything about it, but just said, God said go. Well, we made an appointment to come back later that afternoon with the agent so we could get in. But we saw the outside of the house, and God witnessed to both of us. He spoke and he said, that's your house. We didn't know what it looked like inside. Nothing, whether the carpet would match our furniture, whether the curtains were, nothing like that. And it didn't even hit my mind about, well, maybe this and maybe that. No, the peace of God was there. Yes. He said, it's your house. So we came back that afternoon to see what our house was going to look like. And it was perfect. We didn't know what all we were going to need in that house. Did many things for the ministry there in that house, even though the church was in a different place. But there were many activities that we had there in that house. And God knew. And for 4 years, we leased that house. And then God moved us to another house that we bought. But it strengthened us, again, another area of our lives where we knew God could be trusted. And it was a sanctified experience. As far as we were concerned, God parted the Red Sea and making that house available to us. He made the way for us.
And you know, our children, who were right along with us during that time, saw the memorials. They were not our memorials, they were God's memorials, those sanctified experiences. Our children experienced those sanctified experiences along with us. And I'm sure that even today, if you were able to talk to either one of them, they'd tell you that they saw God part the Red Sea for us many, many times. And even later on, after that time, 20 years ago, when we were in Greenville and we were pastoring the church there, God spoke to us and told us that he wanted us to move to Spindale, North Carolina, and become associated with the church that we're a part of now. It's the Word of Faith Fellowship in Spindale, North Carolina. And at that time, the people, of course, needed housing. They needed jobs. But we made the decision because God spoke, and every one of them had a witness in their hearts that that was the will of God, because we had been associated with Pastors Sam and Jane Whaley for many years. Before that, we had come up for seminars to be a part of the church here, and God said, it's time for you now to join forces with them and be a part of that church. And so we've been here over 20 years now, and it's been a great experience.
Absolutely.
It's been a sanctified experience because we have seen God work miraculously, not only in our lives, but in the lives of those that are around us. But when we moved up here, God provided supernaturally, provided housing, provided jobs for our people, and even to this day, those that are with us still testify to the fact that their lives changed because we obeyed God. And it was a memorial that God set, a landmark, that if you'll listen to my voice and obey me, then these blessings will come upon you and overtake you.
Right. I have a scripture over here in the book of Ephesians, chapter 3. It's a prayer that Paul is praying for the church at Ephesus and for the people there. But it's very much in our lives today. And just in the middle of that, in verse 19, he says, that you may really come to know practically, through experience for yourselves, the love of Christ, which far surpasses mere knowledge without experience. See, it's one thing for somebody else to tell you what God has done in their life, but then it's another thing for you to experience it yourself, for me to experience it for me, and to know that he is no respecter of persons, that if he'll do it for another, then he will do it for us. That you may be filled through all your being unto all the richest measure of the divine presence, and become a body wholly filled and flooded with God himself, and really to know his love. And it goes on to talk about do super abundantly above what you could even ask, think, or ever even dream that would be provided for you in your life. And that's certainly our life. I mean, I never imagined, dreamed, whatever, thought about what my life would be like 50 years down the road and all. But I am so overwhelmed many times and so blessed by all that God has done, not because it's just me, anything I've done, but just because he loves us so much.
You know, Linda, I am satisfied that many people are watching or listening to this program today that are in similar circumstances and situations. They have no control over what's happening in their lives. But our encouragement to you today is that if you'll turn your heart to God,
yes,
and you will trust Him with your circumstances, trust Him with the things that are going on
yes,
in your life, He will turn your life around. I want to close with 1 Peter chapter 5 because it speaks of that.
yes.
It says in chapter 5 of 1 Peter and in verse 6, therefore humble yourselves, demote and lower yourselves in your own estimation. In other words, coming to realize, I can't do anything. I can't change what's going on with me. And just submitting yourself to God under the mighty hand of God, that in due time He may exalt you. And you do that by casting the whole of your care, all your anxieties, all your worries, all your concerns, once and for all on Him. And listen, for He cares for you affectionately. There's nobody that cares for us the way God cares for us.
That's right.
He has more care for you than any human being could ever have. He cares for you affectionately, and He cares about you watchfully. And God is doing that in your lives when you turn your heart to Him, when you acknowledge Him. I think about what the king of Judah said many, hundreds, thousands of years ago. He was surrounded by the armies of the enemy, and there was no way they could overcome that enemy within themselves. And Jehoshaphat turned his heart toward God, and he said, God, you see what the circumstance we're in, the situation we're in today, and we don't know what to do. But he said, but our eyes are on you. And when he said that, he turned it over to God, and God said, here's the solution. Here's the way out. And Jehoshaphat followed it, and God showed Himself faithful on their behalf. It happened down through the years, through the ages for the people of God. And it will still happen for God's people today when you humble yourself before God and acknowledge, God, I can't do anything to change this situation, but I'm trusting you to do it today. God will do it. He will show you how much He loves you,
right.
how much He cares for you. And we care for you
That's
today.
right.
We're going to be praying that these words will pierce your heart and that you'll turn your heart to God and let Him be the Lord in your life today. God bless you. Have a wonderful day today. We love you.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it'll take years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 10 million people without destroying your credit. They can reduce your interest rates, lower your total payments up to 50% to get you out of debt fast. For a free consultation, call Consolidated Credit now. The program works.
Call 800-486-1567. 800-486-1567. 800-486-1567.
Consolidated Credit Solutions Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33313. Licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Kansas CSO 0019051. Maryland DM 1492. Oregon DM 892. Licensed by the Virginia State Corporation Commission, license number DC83. Service may adversely affect the individual's credit. Non-payment of debt may lead to additional finance charges or collections activity, including legal action. Actual interest rates, length of program, and monthly payment reductions will vary by consumer and creditor. Yours could be higher or lower. Not a loan company. We do not lend money.
The 2023 Atlanta Braves are back, and with a loaded roster of young talent and some new faces in the A, it's going to be another wild season.
Riley hammers one, deep left field, bombs away!
Tonight, Truist Park comes alive for a massive home opener as the Braves take on the San Diego Padres in Atlanta. Braves Radio goes on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Get your message to the thousands. Call the WCAB Sales Department today at 287-3356.
Increasing interest rates by the Fed.
Jobs churned out in January slid to 311.